Album review. Today's album is Hozier, Wasteland, baby. And today we're joined by me, Denver, Joe,
Hello.
Will,
Hiya.
and Aidan.
Baby. Alright, so. Boring Land Baby was pretty boring. Alright? Super forgettable, super bland, and the strange musical direction could only really work for him. And it's hard for me not to make comparisons between this and the Sean James Shadow album that we did, because the stylistic choices are similar, but one is done much better. Not going to say which one. It was the Sean James one. Similar to the last album, though, I struggled to get into this one. And often at times, I'd give it a full listen without realising that any of the songs had changed.
Yeah.
But, and with all that being said, this is a big dramatic moment. As I listened to it for the final time, reviewing the album, something just clicked. And I actually started kind of enjoying it. Kind of appreciating it. Which is weird, because I just slated the fuck out of it. But
Just told us it was boring.
well, I still wouldn't rate it as fucking the most entertaining thing in the world.
Yep.
It's like playing, bulls. It's like playing bulls with your family. It's never fun.
What's balls?
Where you roll the balls close to each other.
Yeah,
Balls.
so you got the little ball.
That's bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Balls.
I pronounced it the French way, and it was born in French. It's French.
French.
Right?
It was born in French.
It was born in French, Joe. You
Sorry.
uncultured swine.
God,
it wasn't.
sorry.
I
Were you born in
literally made
France,
that up.
Joe?
Were you born in France?
Oui, oui.
You may as well have been born in occupied Germany. You're a piece of shit.
Jesus.
Fucking Nazi.
Oh my god. I'm not a Nazi.
You may as well be.
Savage.
Worst song. Dinner and Diatribes. Is that the way you say it?
Dinner and Diatribe?
There are a lot of songs on this album, or two mainly, that just aren't words.
Okay.
Right.
You hit me with them, Joe. Joe's like, I've never seen the word movement.
No.
Yeah, go on, Joe.
No, the other one is shrike. Shrike is not a word. Because
Is
whenever I try
That's
to...
just the French word for shriek.
Uh,
I just
It's not.
shriked.
It's literally not, Joe.
yeah, it's not a word.
It is a word.
It probably isn't.
Define
Googled.
shrike.
Just carry on. I'll Google it.
I've only just seen that the first song on the album featured
Sorry.
someone else.
Yes, Mavis Staples.
Yeah.
I bet you know where she worked. Curry's PC World. What was that laugh? Stop doing
That's
that.
not a laugh. That's actually that creepy man behind him strangling him.
Okay, boys, I know what it is.
Go on.
It's a bird.
What,
Shrike
Shrike?
is a bird.
A shrike is a bird.
It's
Ah,
a
okay.
classic.
How kissable?
Like, on the scale of Eagle to Joe Midwood, how kissable?
It's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shrikes are carnivorous,
Carnivorous.
Will Davey won't like it.
passerine birds of the family Lanidae.
To be fair, every picture I can find on the internet of it is it just eating either another bird or a mouse.
What a baller.
So, Will, what did you say it was from? It sounds like it's from a fucking Game of Thrones house.
Of the family Lanidae.
Nah,
family is-
Lanidae's always paid their debts.
Of 33 species in 4 genera.
It's also known as the butcher bird.
Great.
Savage. This is actually a savage little bird.
I know, it looks so cute though, it's so deceiving.
Just like me, small and deceiving.
No.
Sorry, the worst song was Dinner and Diatribes. I found the opening riff, disappointing. I don't know how really to explain it, but it kind of lacked something. Does it? No one else? I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I agree.
It was like it was missing notes or something.
Mm.
And also the way that he sings in the chorus kind of rubs me the wrong way. So not huge on that one. My third favourite was No Plan. And
No.
This was kind of a bit of a hard one to really sort of say anything about. I quite liked it. It's weird. I feel like I like these songs for weird reasons, like I'm revealing like a strange kink or something.
This is a really long song as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I feel the way that he uses the instruments feels incredibly like impactful. Like just in most of the songs, like nothing feels out of place, and
No.
it's like they all have a purpose. And this song, I feel like, demonstrates that quite clearly. Specifically, No Plan.
I think the intro's like the best part about the song, like the opening riff kind of thing.
There's loads of great shit. That's why it's my third favorite. All right.
Um,
Second favorite might be controversial because I did really love it, but one thing sort of clicked it at the last second, and that was Nina Cried Power.
Nina
What a
Cried Power.
What an opening song! Like holy shit, cracking start. Like I really love the build in this song and how by the end of it, it's just like massive.
See, I wasn't a fan of that song.
Because it's just one long build with so much energy and it's like really uplifting and stuff.
It's super powerful.
Yeah, but my issue with that is, it's powerful, but it just in the wrong way for me.
It felt like it dragged on, despite being one of the shortest songs on the album.
See, it's powerful, but you could understand what they were saying. I think that's Joe's problem. It's like they didn't sound like they were just making noise.
Not enough screaming passion.
Not enough writes down on paper. Not enough terrible.
Joe's notes. Not enough shit.
Ah, good.
Too good.
Not enough shit.
It also says underneath it, need to burn Nazi clothes. Aidan found out.
I don't know if I can put in the description that Joe's a Nazi. That might
mean. And my first favourite was Almost. Brackets. Sorry. Open parentheses. Sweet music. Close parentheses. I think that this one by far had the best vocal hook in my opinion, with one of the more digestible sort of lyrics. Like you can clearly hear what he's saying, and by that I mean that like for the majority of the songs on the album, if not all of them, he has like a strange distortion thingy on his voice.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that's like a stylistic choice or whatever, but I feel like it can muffle his words slightly. But overall. Yeah, like as in like you can't really hear what he's saying or singing or anything. Like sometimes and the words get a bit jumbled. I don't know. I think overall this album for me is a prime example of why we listened to them several times. Because up until this final listen, I basically hated it. I was ready to write it off as terrible. Whereas now it's definitely a strong all right. And that's my review.
Thank you, Aidan.
Shut up.
Also, I think Almost is one of the more upbeat ones.
it is upbeat. Yeah,
Definitely.
I wouldn't really say many of the songs are actually happy. They're just, Yeah,
but I don't want to be happy, Joe. I want to be content.
No, nice.
And by content, I mean in a tent.
I never said that was a bad thing. I'm just saying like it was rare to have like a happy song on that album.
You cut off my tent joke.
So this is kind of crazy in that Aidan has literally said pretty much exactly what I was going to say and had pretty much exactly the same experience as what I was going to say. Because upon listening to this, I thought, to be honest, it was a bit naff. I couldn't get into it. It took me ages. And because I remember his first album and how much I really enjoyed that. And obviously, he's got an incredible voice, and just like what he does with a guitar is just insane. But like it took ages to get into it. Like it wasn't until like today, literally today, and I was sat outside having a coffee on a bench and doing nothing, and I put it on, and I was like, do you know what? This is actually like improving, and then I went for a walk and listened to it again one more time. I was like, do you know what? This is like proper changed. It completely changed my outlook on the whole album.
Changed his life,
It changed my life. It's so weird though. Like I couldn't agree more. Like this is why we need to listen to him more, because as the first few listens, I was like, there's a couple songs I was noticing that were all right, but I thought the rest were kind of naff. But it just, like I say, it really, really did grow on me. So the worst for me was Wasteland Baby. I thought it was quite a disappointing end to the album. I don't like what he kind of does with his voice on that, where it's just a bit like slow and long and a bit
Deep.
boring. I like the riff, don't get me wrong, but I think what he sings with it, I just couldn't get with that.
No, I know what it is. Well, you just hate babies, don't you?
World classic baby hater.
He's well known
Do hate
baby hater. We've spoken about this before. Babies are useless.
Babies are pretty useless.
They don't do
what are they
anything.
doing, man?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Just shitting and sleeping and eating.
Fucking
Just
can't even pay
consuming.
rent. Just
Just
consuming.
consuming.
What are they
Wasted-
doing? Sat there converting fucking oxygen into carbon dioxide, little cunts.
They're poisoning the planet.
Fucking
They are.
waste of space.
Fucking wasteland, baby.
They're the fucking virus.
They're the virus,
Babies.
and we're the cure. My boob's the cure. Fucking kill the baby.
What is going on? But no. Third for me, what could have been like between a few, and it was on like my final listen that I did choose it, and that was actually Nobody.
Nobody.
I thought the chorus was great, that it built up. I just think it was a great song, to be honest. That's probably second biggest surprise on the album. Because I only knew 2 songs on this actual album, and that was Almost and Nina Cried Power, because I think that was the 2 singles that he released before this album came out. But yes. Second for me, which was probably the biggest surprise, was actually As It Was. That sounded like it wasn't a title of the song, but
No,
that was the title of the
That's
song.
usually a classic me joke line, but that actually was
Yeah.
the title of the song.
Yeah. So that like surprise. So right. So the reason I liked that so much, it sounded like it could have been in Last of Us. Like it sounded like an actual soundtrack to something. I thought the riff was awesome. I can imagine this being like Denver's worst song because it's quite like slow. But I think
Which one was that, Will?
As It Was.
All right, okay.
Like I just think it's like it could be put in like such in like any movie with like a dramatic scene. It's like perfect. Like especially like the riff, I love it. And it just reminded me so much of like a Last of Us theme. And I think it's just like a very chill song. But number one, for me was Almost in brackets Sweet Music as well, because it stood out to me more than any of the other songs. And while I think this album is quite good, it's not amazing, don't get me wrong. I think it's quite good, but I don't think I'd listen to the majority of the songs unless I was very much like in the mood for it.
Oh,
But I do
specifically
think,
listening to Hozier.
yes, but I do think Almost is a song that I would listen to out of it because it's just, to me, it stood out above the rest and being like quite a normal song that you could be in any mood to listen to. And like Aidan said, the hook, the main hook in the chorus is probably like the best in the album. But yeah, to be honest, it just the album in general just grew on me. I thought it. I don't know, it just like I said, it just grew on. The first few listens were a bit disappointing, but then I think you had to be in like the right scene or the right mood to kind of really enjoy it. I don't think you could just. You have to be like chilled out to listen to it.
You have
kind
to
of
be
thing.
listening to it, I think. If you just had it in the background, it was kind of just like...
You got
what
nulled
just
out
happened?
by whatever you were doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's because I was like trying to listen to it while we was playing stuff on PC, and I just
Yeah,
didn't
PC Master
recognise
Race.
one-
Yeah, sorry.
I didn't recognize one song from the other because it was just kind of noise in the background, nothing. But then when you listen to it on its own and do nothing else, kind of thing, it is very much. It stands out a hell of a lot more than what it would have done.
I think it's a lot
So I'm glad I
more
did do that.
technical than we give it credit for.
Oh,
In some
God, yeah.
extent. Like, there's so much going on in the background that, like, really, yeah, it's real great humdinger.
I think that's what's good about the album. I think the whole thing could literally be a movie soundtrack. Like it all seems very well pieced together, and like everything's a bit intense, but also like it has like its happy moments. And I just think, as an artist, like as an actual album, it's like really, really well put together. I just think as individual songs, they don't stand out as much. But I think it's a solid album. But I still don't think like it's as good as his previous album, which I really liked. But yeah,
Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
Joe.
it's all right.
Hello. It is me, the ultimate critique of
He's
the
French now.
music. I was always French.
Told you he was always French.
So, this is this album. I thought it was pretty boring. Didn't really enjoy it that much, but there were some good songs on there. The best way to describe my experience listening to this album is that I felt, especially because of the first song, I felt like I was being converted into a religious cult.
Okay.
That's it. I felt
Right.
like the songs. I was a bit, because you know how I do my album review when I'm sat in my car at work on my break,
Right.
and I was like worried, like I was embarrassed listening to it in my car because I felt
Wait,
like
hang on a
No,
second. Hold
don't,
up a minute.
Don't
Hold up
say
one
it. Shut
second.
up, Will. No, don't.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Okay.
Just don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
We know what you're gonna say.
You listen to metal.
Oh God,
Just don't.
He said it.
You're an embarrassment, Joe.
anyway,
You fucking
I was
froggy
like,
prick.
because I was like scared. Oh, that guy's like super overpoweringly religious, and you know, I didn't want people to think that about me. No offense to
Well,
anyone
they did
that
have a
is.
song, Take Me to Church.
Yeah, but that
Which was about
gays.
oh my God.
Jews.
Yeah, but it was
homosexuals.
No, it was actually about gays.
Yeah, it was genuinely.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. Joe, prolifically a gay hater.
Yeah, he
No.
does hate gays.
No. No.
This is
How
just
to start
slander.
a rumour 101.
Slander.
Just claim something against someone. I can't defend them.
And then I'll just crop out every time Joe says no.
No, it's like, yes, yes.
Yes, I am.
You give us a
Right.
clean plate, yes, Joe.
No.
Joe, do you like Wage War?
Ah, there we go.
Ah, no,
Got
what are
it.
you going to say to that? What are you going to say?
I can't say no.
There you go.
Right, I got it now.
I hate gays.
You can't say no, that's enough.
Oh fuck! Shit.
You got me, guys.
Okay. Yeah. So very culty. I've got some notes down written about certain songs, like on movement. The ooh bit towards the end was a bit weird. I feel like
Man, is this your worst song?
no.
No, this is just bonus notes.
Oh, these are notes. Okay,
These are just
sorry.
no notes. I thought, well, we all know Hozier's got a really insanely good voice. It's very unique as well.
Yeah.
The timbre of his voice is very unique and it's very
Pretty-
cool.
Would you say it was melodic?
Very melodic,
Mhm.
yes. But I don't feel like this album supported his voice. Like, is in the backing music. Although a lot of it was very good, I feel like he didn't put, I don't think he took advantage of it almost. Like,
you were about to say you didn't put the effort in.
no, because you can quite clearly tell he put effort in, but I felt like he could have done more with his voice in terms of like range and stuff.
Wow.
That
sounds like a real retarded
Wasteland
way of
Baby, his voice just completely changes in that song. And he sounds like really mumbled and deep and dark. I didn't really like it. It sounded weird. But the music in it was good. I think a lot of the acoustic guitar in the song is very, I'm going to say underrated, but I don't know who rates it. But yeah, I like all the acoustic-y twiddly bits sound very good. Saying that, my worst song, what was it? It was Sing. That was my worst song because I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Sing, do you mean to noise making?
Yeah, to noise making.
You are?
There isn't a song called Sing.
Yes, there is.
It's called To Noise Making.
It's probably that one then.
Joe saying listening to fucking Ed Sheeran.
Sing! That's a similar vibe to that, though, don't you think?
I like the verses and stuff of that song. I just don't like the way they go, sing, sing. Yeah. Anyway.
That was nearly in my top 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like it too.
I tell you what was almost in my last song was Dinner and Diatribes. Third favourite was Shrike. So the reason I found out it's not a real word is because I was trying to put it in my notes, but it kept auto-correcting it to shriek every time.
But it is a real word, though.
And I was like, my phone literally physically wouldn't let me type.
But it is a real word, though.
It is a real word, but I feel like it's an Americanization.
But have you ever typed the word fuck and it autocorrects
British
it to
bird.
duck?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You what?
Quite often, if you type in the word fuck, it'll try and autocorrect it to duck.
I want to know why you type fuck into Google, you know?
Not into Google, I'm on about Messenger.
Come on now, I just type in big booty bitches. I'm a big fan of Asian gymnasts for.
Second video. Second I'm an idiot.
Thank you.
Second favourite song was What That I.
Oh,
Would That I.
Bloody hell.
Would That I.
We're like 2 for 2 at this point.
And I think that was mainly because of like the acoustic. And it reminded me of like a Ben Howard song. A little bit.
It wasn't terrible though.
No, Ben Howard was a bit boring, and this was also a bit boring. But yeah, it just had like those two songs, especially, they felt like actual songs as opposed to just something I would go to a church and expect like an opera to be like clapping and singing like.
You mean a gospel?
Gospel, that's it. Yeah. They actually felt like actual... rather than
African gospel.
Not racist.
Probably.
My favourite song was No Plan.
Hey.
Favorite because again, it just felt like a normal song, and I liked it. And I loved like he had that like distorted thing on his voice, and it was just a bit groovy and jazzy as well. Yeah. So yeah, that was it. Pretty okay to bad album, somewhere between that range.
So for you, it's a 7.
Wouldn't listen.
No, 9 because he rates the metal high. So
yeah, but that's because I like that.
What?
And I liked this. I liked some of the songs on it, but I don't think I'd listen to any of it outside of Review. But I can appreciate it for what it is.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Denver.
I thought this album was forgettable and kind of boring.
Yeah,
that's fair.
The whole way through the album really is kind of boring. Until again, I listened to it the last time, and some songs did finally stick out. Like actually, the start of the album, I'd say for the first maybe 6 songs were actually like had good songs in there, and even the songs that were okay they were still all right. They were okay. Past song 6, I disliked all of them. They were all boring to the point where like I had no notes to write on them. I was just like, I don't get any of these. They're all boring. There's no hook. There's nothing to them. They're all slow and just meh.
Joe, did you agree? Aren't all of your top 3 past 7?
Yes, other than No Plan. Yes.
Oh my god. It's a classic. I just wasn't listening.
Oh,
someone's just turned their
sorry.
Xbox on or something.
The Xbox is on.
Yeah, so
Xbox,
it's
record
behind
that.
my feet, so I always accidentally turn it
Whoa.
on.
Xbox. I'm playing Titanfall. Whoa, Xbox, record that war cry.
Yeah, and it's also very long. Like as well as the album being long, every song is very long. So it just makes it feel even worse. And you were saying about him being like a good singer. I don't think he is actually that good of a singer, as in like raw, like in what I would think Aidan would sort of rate them on like raw range. I think
You wouldn't say that to Hozier's face.
I think it's just he has a very stylized way of singing, which if you like, you're gonna love it, and I don't like it. So you even like stuff off his old album, like When You Take Me to Church and things. Like I never really liked those songs that much. So it's not really the kind of style I like. So my least favourite was literally almost a random pick of any song past 6. Because I really couldn't differentiate. Like I remember flicking through them afterwards. Like I don't know if I like this is worse or not than the one I heard before. I don't know. So I ended up going for this philosophy of the longest one at that point, which was Shrike. So I put that as my least favourite because it was nearly 5 minutes long.
Fair enough.
Second longest song on the album. No Plan was longer, but that song was okay. Whereas I didn't like Shrike. Now I feel like my top 3 would be so easy for you to guess.
Are they literally the top 3 based on how many listens they have on Spotify?
No, it's the top 3 based on the only upbeat ones on this.
Oh shit! So it's probably almost Nina Cried Power and what,
It's
like
not
the
Nina Cried
noise?
Power.
Maybe is it to noise making? That was
It's
pretty
definitely
upbeat.
almost. I think to noise making, and then maybe let's go with like No Plan.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it then.
Nobody.
So my top 3 in third was Nobody. Kind of funky, was an alright song. Like that would come on and be like, this one's alright actually. And yeah, I like also how my favourites are the 3 shortest songs as well, which I've only just noticed. So Nobody in 3, quite a good song. Now the top 2 I actually really liked to the point where I would listen to them again, and it's kind of what carried the whole rating of this album was these 2 songs. And that was in second was Almost, and the top one was To Noise Making. That was
the second one was almost what?
To Noise Making as that was just great, had a big feel to it. I loved it.
You loved it.
Yeah, I loved To Noise Making.
I love you.
Oh well, and Nina Cried
Don't
Power
let
to
Joe
be
hear
fair, was like that until Nobody. That was my third favourite, and then Nobody sort of took it on my last listen. But other than those 4 songs, even the rest of them, I could have ditched off the whole album, and they just kind of downrated the whole thing. So overall, but again, it was still worth it to listen to because it found those 2 songs that I really like. But other than that, it's a meh of an album.
I thought it was an artistic journey through the
fuck
land
off,
of Hozier.
Oh, here we
Fuck
go.
off.
Fuck off, you herbivore eating man.
You a herbivore.
Herbivore.
You are a proper herbivore, mate.
Shut
Whoa.
up, you gay hating.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not.
I'm not gonna say it.
Oh, no.
All right.
Ratings.
Denver.
Ratings.
Is it John? Is it me?
Aidan.
6.
7.
3.5.
4. It scores 20.5.
Woo.
Woo!
That's terrible.
It is. It's not great, is it?
It's
No.
about that's as bad as a Joe Metal album.
Not quite that
Yeah.
bad, Joe. Not quite that bad.
Okay.
To give it a ballpark, well, Zig Clarity did worse.
Really? Zed Clarity did worse
Yeah.
than that?
Wow.
But that's because fucking Joe
Oh, what a
gave
Joe
it a
rate.
1.5.
Joe.
It's just wrong.
Joe of just downrating all my picks. It's a real thing.
Well, Denver, I could say the same about you. To be fair, about
Yeah, no, I still gave
albums.
them good
Yeah.
ratings. I didn't tank the rating.
No, but you
Yeah,
just
that-
didn't want
yeah,
to give
well.
me that 30, did you? Bitch?
Yo, you didn't want to give him the 30, Denver, did you?
To be
Yeah,
fair, I was listening
bitch.
back to that All Time Low album, and
Let's
I
not
was just stuck
talk
with my
about it.
7.
Oh no, we just need an experience where you remember it more
It still
vividly.
would have been a 30. Why don't you chalk it down to 6.5?
No, let's not do that.
No, it was definitely a 7.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
I reckon you're definitely a 7.
Oh,
I reckon it's a 7.5 personally.
what?
So does that mean it's your pick next, Denver?
It is my pick next. Hang on, I've got to write it in first.
I'm excited. Question is it a new one or is it an old album?
It's not a new. Well, it depends by what context you mean, new or old.
Right, in the last few weeks, has
It's
it
not
come
from
out?
the last few weeks, no.
Oh, it's so old. Don't care
Then
anymore.
it's an older album.
Older than the last few weeks, yes.
Yes. Like last year.
So old.
In fact, I don't know what. I guess this is this genre. In fact, this is the oldest album we've had.
What
Whoa.
the
Wait,
fuck?
what?
Whoa.
Ever?
Ever
Older
in
than
album
Bon
review.
Jovi.
Come on, Hall and Oates.
Older than Bon Jovi.
Come on, Hall
Are
and
you
Oates.
kidding me?
No.
Older than
My
the
album
Eagles.
pick is The Beatles.
Oh.
Please, Please Me.
Oh,
Shit.
bro.
You know what? This is the biggest curveball since 9/11.
So 9/11 happened. That is a curveball. Goddamn terrorists.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it called
That's
again?
cool.
Please,
Please,
Please Me.
please me.
I've just got to scroll through all the fucking
Oh, I know, there's so
greatest
many.
hits albums to get to it. Jesus Christ.
It is like the remastered version. 2009.
So I've never properly listened to the Beatles. So. Isn't Abbey Road their famous one, though?
Yeah.
What do you mean
you're
they're
not
famous song? They're all famous.
Yeah.
No, but like every artist has like one album that is like their.
You see, I thought about that, but I picked
Yeah.
artists previously based on that, and we always thought it was shit.
Please, please me.
Yeah. Right. Any closing thoughts there, Joe?
Have you ever tried to eat honey flavored soap?